Hi everyone, my name is Lee's son. I'm here to present to you today my final project as the conclusion of the 2020 Consensys Online Developer Bootcamp. And I'm very excited to show you what I built, my first complete program from head to toe, from smart contract blockchain backend to a web front end. So it's my very first complete project. So, and with the help of the instructors and Consensys, I was able to put this together. So before I go into and introduce you what the project is, I want to give you kind of background of how this project came together, and through some of the collaborations with other students and ideas I've had with them. You know, on why I chose to create this project. So okay, so have you ever had a time where you committed to a goal, like losing weight, losing 10 pounds, or 20 pounds, or not eating sugar, or something that you commit your mind to and you have a lot of willpower, but then throughout the period of time, you kind of slowly lose that willpower and you don't end up achieving your goal. And so that happens to almost everyone, right? And what I realize is that you can kind of safeguard and put rail guards, around those decreased levels of motivation. And in order for you to be focused on your commitment, one of the biggest motivators universally to everyone is money. So money is not shouldn't be all of the motivation for you, but it certainly can help as as rail guards, for or training wheels, or what you say, for you to stay on course, right? So what I realized is that, if I want to lose weight, or if I want to achieve my goal and I'm going to commit to it, right, I'm going to directly and explicitly commit an amount of money and bet for myself, right, that I will uh, the bet on myself to achieve that goal. So so very simple, right? I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight in a month. I want to lose 10 pounds. I will bet one ether on myself, right? I'm going to automate it through this smart contract. And what I realize is that incentives and Web3 and blockchain, right, will be tied together, where once blockchain is matured and developed, right, our incentives, the incentive structure of us as humans will significantly be impacted. So, anyhow, so let's get into the weeds and let me tell you how the Dapp works. Okay, so the game, the rules is very simple, right? So you have a goal. You are in the game called a staker, right? So you you have a goal. You want to achieve it, and essentially you're going to need to have three inputs to be part of the game as the staker. First, you need to define the goal. So you need to name what your goal is. If it's losing weight, weight loss, lose 10 pounds, right? That's a definition. Second, you're going to need to declare a minimum amount that you're willing to bet on yourself to achieve that goal. So if it's losing 10 pounds, I'll bet 10 ethers, or sorry, one ether on losing 10 pounds on myself, right? Um, that to me is reasonable. It'll get me off my butt to run or exercise or diet within that week, right? You got to decide what's that minimum bet for you. And number three, you have to decide the time. How much time are you going to allow yourself to to achieve that goal, right? So those are the three inputs and the variations that um, that you will need to create a goal. Once a goal is created, right, then you will need two other players, right, to help you uh, on this goal journey within this Dapp. The first player is what we call a sponsor. A sponsor is someone who has the same interest and is interested in um, providing you extra incentive to achieve your goal. So, for example, if I want to lose weight, 10 pounds, right, my wife or my or family member could be the individual that would want to be a staker for me, right? Because they're interested in me losing weight. and being more healthy, right? So they're willing to bet 1 ether for just for example, right? And then as extra incentive for me. And then the third is the judge, right? Because the judge has actually a lot of power. The judge is an arbitrator, right, who will decide whether the outcome of your progress to achieve your goals is a success or failure, right? So ideally, when blockchain is developed and everything is all automated, the technology of an oracle, right, the technological advancement of oracles, right, can be personalized in a way where they can detect they can be the judge in an automated fashion. You don't need to have a person to manually decide, right? So so like if you're losing weight, the oracle can come into your smart scale and say that, oh hey, from this time to this time you've lost your 10 pounds down, right? So that's the end goal of this application, right? But right now we're for simplicity purposes and then technologically we're not um, advanced enough to do that yet. At least I haven't figured out a way. So we're just going to have a third arbitrator, which is the judge. Okay. So so how does it work? Extremely simple. The staker will bet an amount on himself after he named the goal and decide how long it's going to take him to achieve the goal. The sponsor will co-bet with him and provide extra incentive, and then the judge will decide. So once the betting has has been done and we're at the end of the duration of the goal, the judge can decide. Now, if the judge decides that the staker, which is you or me in this case, has successfully achieved my goal, then I will not only get my own stake back, so the 1 ether back, but I will take in winnings of the sponsor. So let's say my wife put another ether in there, and then I will take that, or my a friend or a family sponsored 1 ether mm, um, on that objective, on that goal. Boom, I get my ether back, I get one more ether back. So I'm up 1 ether. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, if we lose, it's completely different. Right? If you lose, then I will lose my stake. So I will lose 1 ether. So I haven't achieved my goal, $500, in which is ether's price today. Down the line, down the drain, I can't have it anymore. And the sponsor who provided extra incentive, right, will get his or her money refunded. So that's how it works. All right, very, very simple. This is a bare bone Dapp that shows, bare bone Dapp that gives um, kind of like a foundation for a good use case, right? So whether it's losing weight or whether it's, traveling 7 countries in 7 months or something like that, something base level for incentives, human incentive to align um, with financial motives, and for that to be automated and powered by the blockchain. So, all right. So now let's get in the weeds of how we play. So, okay, let's actually, the best way to do that is to actually run and show. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going um, to actually take my most recent version of my Goalify, and we're gonna run it. Okay, so this is my most recent version. Okay, all right. So we're gonna do npm. First, I'm gonna do truffle, migrate, set. I like to have things in a clean slate. So truffle, migrate, reset. Once I have that, then I'm gonna hit npm run dev. So this will now set my Okay, so this now has, okay, so this is the depth. So up front, you have the three inputs. What is your goal? What are you willing to bet? And how long is your goal? Now, how long are you willing to give yourself? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check. You're going to need your MetaMask to have three accounts. The first account is, that's you. That's the staker, the guy who's setting the goal and setting a goal for himself. Second account is the sponsor, and third account is the judge. Very simple. Okay. What I like to do is I like to make these guys even. So I'm going to take an account like number 4, and then I'm going to transfer 10.1 ethers to here. 10.1 ethers to 1. So that confirm. Okay, and then I'm going to 10 ethers to number 2, so that we have real whole numbers. Confirm. Okay, so now in a second, you should see 100 and 199. All right, so that's the da, 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 da. Okay, so 100, 109. So okay, all even numbers. All right, so now I'm gonna. All right, so here's the interface. I'm going to name my first goal, which is I'm gonna lose 10 pounds. I'm going to the minimum bet I'm gonna do is gonna have is 1 ether. So in this column, sorry, in this input, everything is in ethers. I've actually simplified the app so you don't have to enter 1 to the 18th power, right? So yeah, you can just simply put 1 as 1 ether will be your bet, and then how long? Now, typically this would be a month, so it'd be 84,000 seconds, which is the seconds of a day. So the unit here is in seconds, right? So typically I would put 84,000 times 30, right? Because that's my allotted time to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, realistically. But then for the purpose of demonstration, I'm only going to put 120. Right? Also, I want to, before I set the goal, I want to just show you that, I want to mention here that my MetaMask address is actually right here. So I was on account B1, so I think that was 4, that'd be 2, right? So the MetaMask will be updated every time I refresh or an action happens and a state has been changed. The MetaMask account will be right here, pasted and updated here. So now we want to be on account 1, right? Account 2. Okay, and then I'm going to set my goal. Okay, boom. So I hit that. It's going to say account 1, do you want to create the goal? Yes. And for a gas fee of this, correct. My goal is set, and my goal is set. Now I'm going to, I have 30 seconds, very important, 30 seconds. I have to do this quickly to set who my sponsor is. So I got a nice picture of Coogan here. So I want Coogan to be my sponsor. He's interested in me in losing 10 pounds. And then I have Tom here, who is not interested, but he will arbitrate, has agreed to arbitrate whether or not I am successful in endeavor to lose 10 pounds. Okay, so now I've set the sponsor and the judge. Or actually, in real world, these two guys would actually set themselves to be the sponsor and the judge, but I've done it for testing purposes and demonstration purposes. I've done it here. And then afterwards, I'm going to bet. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bet. So I have 100, 100, right? I'm going to bet 5 ethers on myself for achieving this goal, right? So 5 ethers. Say I'm rich. I want to bet 2,500 on myself. Okay, boom, on me achieving this goal. Okay, so do you notice here up top, right? The state has changed. Now the total pot reflected is 5 ethers. The same thing will occur. Now I'm the staker and I want co-bet. And let's just say that sponsor Coogan wants to bet. He's got faith in me. He wants to bet 6 ethers. for me to achieve my goal as extra incentive. So click. So now the total pot is 10. Well, 5 plus 6 should be 11. So why is it 10? Well, simply because we put a failsafe in this, our failsafe cap in this Dapp. Because the reason why it's 10 is because the total amount that you bet in the pot can achieve more than 10 times the minimum bet. So the minimum bet is 1 ether, right? So um, when it's 1 ether, right, 1 times 10 is 10. So you can't, so the sponsor and you cumulative together cannot bet more than 10 ethers. And if you do, the excess will be refunded back to you. And this is all built in the smart contract. So this is a way for people to not win as much and not lose as much, right? So that way, you're still revolving around the minimum bet. So it's a capping mechanism. Okay. So after 120 seconds, so 2 minutes, Tom now is the judge, right, of whether or not. So we're gonna go to count 3, and this is Tom. Tom comes in, and Tom's gonna say if the goal is met or not. Right. Now the thing is, Tom has to wait 100. Well, so typically this 120 seconds would be a lot longer, right? So Tom typically would come in, evaluate at the end of the month, look at me, look at my data, my skills, look at my my face as compared to before. Am I actually 10 pounds less, right? That's the type of work that he needs to do as an individual. Um, but for demonstration purposes, right, he's just going to say yes or no, right? So let's just say in 120 seconds to 2 minutes, I lost 10 pounds, right? So he agrees. He thinks it's successful. He says yes. Okay. And then he confirms. Boom. Okay. So then if that's the case, and since Coogan bet 5 ethers, I bet 5 ethers, I should get 5 of mine back, and I should win five of Coogan's bet, right? Let's see. Do I have a 105? No, I don't have 105, and Coogan hasn't. Coogan still stays the same. Now, the reason why this is because, simply put, for safety reasons, I've decided to put a withdrawal button here, a withdrawal function that separates the internal accounting, the accounting work, from and the work that it takes to send in the tokens, to send in the ethers from the withdrawal. So the accounting is done here in the functions above, and I have a specifically dedicated function on the bottom to withdraw externally the ether, the amount of money in the pot. And this is, what we learned in class, which is in through the course, is the push over, the pull over push method. Right? Instead of, I could have easily just have amount an X amount of money to be withdrawn after I approve yes. But it's actually safer to separate the accounting and the work that's being done from the actual withdrawal itself. So that's why, in order for the money to be done, one of these guys, particularly the judge, can claim the ETH. Could claim the ETH on behalf of the winner. In this case, would be me because I achieved my goal. So once I hit this, boom. Okay, so we started 100, 100. I gained 5. The account, Coogan lost 5, but 5 ethers, but he's happy I lost 10 pounds, and he's jumping for joy while I'm also jumping for joy of winning that 5 ether. So very, very simple. Very, very simple. So if I were to hit no, then what would happen would be Coogan would actually get his money back. He get a full refund on the 5 ethers, and I would lose the 5 ethers. So essentially, that's how the way the game is designed. A few quick important things here that I want to point out is number one, once you create a goal, you have 30 seconds to the sponsor and the judge must be set. You must be on different, you must toggle to different accounts, and within those accounts, right? Um, Within those accounts, yeah, then you have to, race with urgency to set the sponsor and the judge, right? And then the other thing is the betting. You have 120 seconds or 2 minutes to bet, right? So you can. Um, Last time I did 5 bets, 5 ether per for 1 bet, and then Coogan bet 6 ethers, right, as extra incentive. But what actually could happen is I can only bet one. But then if I want to bet more within that 2 minute framework, I can also do so as long as the pot is not over 10 ethers, right? So so um, betting can be string bet for both me and the sponsor, and then as long as we're not over the pot, this can be completely doable. So okay, 2 minutes, and then we as soon as the betting is done, in our case, the 2 minute goes up. The judge can decide yes or no. But realistically, this would be a lot longer, and the judge would have to evaluate. So, and then finally withdraw. So very, very, very simple app. I built security features into it. Just to let you know, I built a lot of restrictions on who can actually call which function, and also I put multiple time locks on the 30 seconds, the 2 minutes, and also the approved yes or no. And the other interesting thing I'm proud of doing is that, which is also very difficult for me to do, was that remember when we hit bet, the total ethers were reflected here, right? So when I bet 5 and I bet 6, right, the 10 was here, and then 5 was here before the sponsor code betted, and this actually takes the information from the blockchain, the back end, and from a struct in the in the blockchain that's been updated through changing states, and is able to display that information in the front end. So okay, that's about it. Extremely simple. Um, I hope to take this futuristically in the future. I want to continually build it. I want to find a perfect use case for this, right? Something that can be proven, a goal that can be measured and proven through automatically proven through an oracle, and that people can start betting against or for another, for their loved one, with their friends, for fun, for serious commitment, you know, and yeah, and I think that aligning incentives, human incentives, with financial motives, powered through automation, um, in smart contract, is something that I think will be really interesting as blockchain and Web3 continue to develop. Okay, thank you. And lastly, what I would like to do is just to show you. I actually downloaded from GitHub. It's very simple. So to actually set this up, you just download from GitHub. You do a clone, and you type in npm install, and then you hit npm run dev, and that's basically it. Very simple. You don't have to do anything else. All right. So thank you very much. That's it for this demo.